wouldn't be an exaggeration to call the new Multiverse Saga game mode an absolute disaster. Putting aside the nice aesthetics and the cool story with some nice cutscenes and some interesting interplay between characters and a real genuine focus on an otherwise, underutilized team in the Fantastic Four with cool cameos from characters like Hulk, She-Hulk, and Spider-Man, putting all of that aside, the rest of it is being very poorly received by players. Now, I'm only referencing YouTube comments in this example, but you don't have to go very far or look very hard to find similar examples and similar commentary and feelings and opinions and thoughts on players by players on Reddit, on Facebook, online groups, on Discords. It's everywhere. Players are not happy. Alex summarized the video in the first few seconds. Whale, whale, whale. Netmarble here trying to beat EA Ubisoft. The last time I saw players referencing EA and Ubisoft this much was after the 2020-2021 boycotts. Yikes. $40 is too expensive for me. Applies to all agents. Activates when the update hits. Decreases damage from developers with evil abilities. Yeah, worst update in a while. 20 likes in 9 hours. Jesus. This is not an update. Wow. They lost me at a new growth system. Just 5 or 10 more minutes of heartless grinding every day. Painful to even think about. And there's no surprise here that a lot of this has to do with the fact that half of the rewards that you get from this game mode are paywalled, and that some of the rewards are paywalled at all. It's one thing to paywall a character. It's not fun. It's definitely not welcomed by the entire community, but it happens, right? You get characters being semi-paywalled like Colossus. You get characters being fully paywalled like Polaris. But even those characters are just characters. They're not game modes. They're not ability to farm specific items. Imagine if Dormammu GBR was paywalled and you had to pay money to unlock him. That would be insane. So I think more than any other piece of advice that I have for the developers is this. Add in an option to buy the boss pack or something like that. Either the boss pack or the entire Franklin's Richards pack, add in an option to pay for that with crystals. Make whatever kind of justification you need to make it 10,000 crystals. It doesn't really matter how much it is, as long as it's obtainable, it's grindable, right? Having it being paid only is a really big deal breaker for a lot of players. And they can even make Franklin still cost $40, but not have this specific battle cost or be part of that $40, right? That is honestly, I think, what really is the deal breaker for players. I don't think players would be this upset if Franklin was $40 or whatever, $50 even, if they could unlock this boss battle through either crystals or free grinding. It's really the fact that the content itself, and when I say the content itself, this is the lowest form of content, because since I've beaten the bosses, let me show you what this content amounts to these days. I mean, from now on, basically, until the end of time. I'm just going to do this, and I'm just going to do this. That's it. This is the content. That's it. And I actually got no emblems. That's crazy. So, do they need to tweak this somehow? Maybe. Obviously, they would, if they were to make this boss battle specifically not paywall, then they would have to take the Franklin bios out, etc. But I genuinely think they need to do something about this, because it's pretty disappointing, and it's going to make a lot of players upset. Now, you're probably happy to see that I'm clear ticketing it and not getting any emblems. That probably makes you less irritated about what's going down. But yeah, it's still very messy. It's still a shit show. And don't get me wrong, look, the free one is really good. I just farmed almost 40 bios there, almost 50 bios there in 5 matches, and that only cost me 25 energy. So the energy to bio ratio is very good. You also get data for emblems, and you also get emblem enhancement kits, which you need, which are very good. And I'll talk about the emblems, because I do think the emblem system is cool. And I would hate to see players largely reject it and ignore it and basically, take years to adopt it, because the devs are so slow to fixing something like this. So I genuinely hope that they either make Franklin unlockable with crystals, or they make this boss battle grindable for free or unlockable with crystals or something, because as it stands right now, Yeah, I think this is going to end up being one of the worst updates of this year, and maybe one of the worst updates all time because of it, right? You basically have two characters who are being advertised for PvP only, and mostly for Otherworld Battle, which is not the most popular game mode, let's be honest. And then you have a $40 character, which we just explained why people are pissed about that. And then you have a free character. That's great. There's one free character that everybody can unlock for free easily on the first day, but she's not very good. Surprise, surprise, right? She's mostly just a leadership, and they actually tell you that in game. They say, yep, she's just a lead. She's not even a support or a damage dealer. I do believe her artifact is a support artifact. Yeah, her artifact is a support artifact, so she should technically have the support tag as well. That is a bit of a mistake from the devs. But there's actually a lot of mistakes in this update. One I want to talk to you guys about, Timeline Survival. For whatever reason, we're redoing War of the Realms. Whereas the last few updates where they had Timeline Survival, since they changed it to being a 7-day event during an update cycle, it was always themed to whatever the update was. Whether it was themed to the X-Men and you were fighting against the Mr. Sinister boss, or it was themed to the Annihilators and you were fighting this boss or that boss. They just sort of said, screw it, we're not going to do that anymore. And they've recycled War of the Realms. That looks really bad. It looks very lazy, and it looks bad. It doesn't match thematically, so there's that. And then there's some undocumented changes that are also going to upset some people. Now, they're not bad undocumented changes, but again, why change things and not tell us? This is just like bad communication. So they actually changed the token shop a little bit. They changed it mostly visually. So they changed it to this layout, and you're not dreaming. This is the new layout here. It's different than before. Before it used to be, over here. I think they tried to mention it when they were talking about how they changed the shop around, and they changed some of the things that appeared on the left-hand side. So yeah, you can see on the left-hand side here, the shop for Timeline doesn't show up anymore, and you have to you click this, and it sort of takes you here. And you have to go back, and it's a bit awkward, but whatever. It is what it is. Actually, never mind. It's still there. It's called Token Shop. I don't know. But they changed this around. They changed this UI around, and they also changed around, instead of having to buy 1, 5, or 10, you can now just specify up to the max exactly how many you want to buy. I think this is a great change. It just makes it faster to farm these items rather than having to click on the 750 or the 7,500 over and over again. The amounts that you get are exactly the same as before. So I believe you got 200 for 750, for 7,500, 10 times 20 is 200. So you still get 200. You still get the same amount for the same cost. They haven't changed the prices or changed the drop rates of any of these things here. But it's just weird, right? With all of the other changes that were unwelcome in this update, like Timeline Survival, this, and Multiverse Saga, it's just kind of bizarre. It's kind of bizarre. I have no other way to really explain it. But yeah, players are upset. I don't really have a better answer for you guys. I don't really have a better solution than just keep blasting them on social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube comments, and keep asking them to improve this game mode. That's really what it's going to take, because if enough people complain for long enough, they should make some adjustments, make some changes to to Multiverse Saga. As far as the rewards go for Multiverse Saga, they could be better for sure. There's something else I wanted to see here in the Emblem collection. Yeah, I have my Emblem rewards already here. These are just kind of whatever. To give you guys a bit of advice, if you want to try and tackle the emblems here, I'll try to, wrap it up with something informational, but also something a little bit more positive. If you are diving in headfirst to the emblems, I have a couple of suggestions. So the first suggestion I have is to level up particular emblems that are stronger than others, because as we covered briefly in the last video, some of the emblems, particularly the shield ones, are really bad. The shield ones are for dimension rifts, and it's just generally bad. You just want to get enough stars to unlock the reward slot for the shield one, but you don't want to be you don't want to be pouring all of your effort into getting more stars. You want to try to get more stars for the first two, because those rewards are generally better. And you have the brilliant CTP for the first two, and the third one is actually the 6-star artifact. So in my opinion, it's not quite as good as the brilliant CTP. But yeah, don't worry too much about leveling up the shield one. The Iron Man one, it should be your focus if you want to focus mostly on PvE, or if your account mostly focuses on PvE, because all of these are for World Boss. They buff World Boss content or debuff World Boss content. And then the Spider-Man one is if you want to focus on PvP. In particular, there are some really nice ones in both. So I'll cover Spider-Man first. If you can get your hands on the Ben Reilly one, which I believe is farmable, I haven't memorized them, so you'd have to just look. Almost half of the emblems are farmable, which is not bad. This one is, it's not here, so it should be here. It is not here. Oh, so it is not farmable. Shit. Okay, well, yeah, it's not farmable. That sucks. The Pepper Potts is farmable, and so is Iron Man. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a second here. But yeah, so this one's not farmable, so it means you're either going to have to gamble for it, or you're going to have to buy a selector or some sort of, you know, you have to get it some other way. But this one increases your HP. I don't really have to explain why that is very, very good. And as you can see here, I get it up to 3 stars, and it's up to 11% max HP. That is absolutely massive. Now, it's only for timeline battle. Though it's only available in the paid Doom battle, the Silver Sable emblem is farmable, so is technically, you know, available without gambling. And that one, although it gives you a lower percentage of attack, it does give you energy attack in timeline battle, which can also be good for, and is generally good for, you know, Silver Surfer, Sentry, everybody basically but Wolverine and Thanos right now in the PvP meta for timeline battle. So that is good. And again, as you level it up, it's going to go higher. So, you know, not even getting it to 2 stars there, and it's already over 2% to already over double. Sorry, from 2% to 4%. Unlike the paywall Doom battle, the Mary Jane emblem is available from the free Doom battle. So I would, again, try to rush the battle as fast as you can and then start grinding it to try to get that Mary Jane Watson emblem, because although it's legendary, so it has a lower drop chance, it has a much higher percentage. So rather than just giving 2% energy attack, it gives 7% physical attack in timeline. It's not going to affect as many characters, but it'll buff Wolverine a bit. It'll buff Mr. Fantastic a little bit if you're using him. It'll buff, you know, Thanos a little bit, so that is pretty nice. As for the PvE emblems that you want to focus on for the free-to-play grindable Doom battle that everyone can unlock, you have the Iron Man Tony Stark one where he's out of his suit. That gives you HP, which is pretty good. You have War Machine out of his suit as well, which gives you increased resistances. This is really only good against Mephisto and Jean, but it's not bad. You have the Pepper Potts, which gives you increased physical attack. And again, leveling this one up, as you can see, more than doubles it with just about a day's worth of normal emblems, maybe 2 days, 1.5 days worth of normal emblems, like normal emblem farming. This Hulkbuster one is also farmable from the regular Doom battle. This one increases your fire damage, so this will be good for Ghost Rider, good for Jean, good for, thanks True King, but not right now, good for maybe Human Torch when he comes out, that sort of thing. You also have Riri Williams without her uniform. I don't know if I have that one unlocked yet. That increases your basic attack. This is probably one of the best ones, and this one is farmable for free. I just haven't unlocked it yet. I haven't gotten it to drop, but yes, it does drop for free in the regular Doom battle, as you can see right over here, and that increases all attack. And so that'll start at 2%, but it'll go up to whatever, like 10%, 15%, and that'll apply to all your characters in World Boss. So there is some nice sort of silver lining stuff here to farm for. I wouldn't let... I'm kind of trying to end the video on a positive note by highlighting some places where you can get extra buffs for free and sort of trying to encourage players to farm a little bit, because I do see a lot of apathy. Not the negativity is okay, but the apathy, like, I'm just going to ignore Multiverse Saga. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to grind it at all. This update's a total skip for me. You know, it's still better that you just do it. Like, if you're not going to quit, obviously if you're going to quit the game, you can do whatever you want. And obviously I'm not telling you how to play, but if you're going to still log into the game, if you're still going to play all of the other content, might as well climb your way through the Multiverse Saga and unlock the regular Doom boss. Because there's genuinely some decent buffs here that you can get completely for free, right? Completely for free. And then, crossing our fingers, hopefully the devs listen and they make the other Doom boss and the other content, you know, unlockable with crystals or some other way rather than just being a $40 paywall. So yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath for that necessarily, but at the same time, I have seen the devs listen in the past. I have seen them make big changes to content that they were trying to monetize heavily. I don't think this is the most... I know this seems really egregious to some people, but I don't think this is the most expensive monetization they've ever tried. I mean, certainly not compared to what the original premium card crafting looked like, where you needed 150 spare premium cards to craft. That system would have been insane, right? On the basis of you having to pull 10 times right? Just to put it into perspective, in the old system that they introduced, where you had to use 5 premium cards, right? If you were crafting a P card, if you had a P card like this and you wanted to combine it, you would have to use other premium cards like this. You would have to. This was how the old system worked. And so needing 5 to make 1 star means that you needed 30 premium cards to finish 1 card. Needing 30 premium cards to finish 1 card, with the sort of standard luck assumption that it's going to take you 10 pulls on this at 675 a pop to get 1, because of the way that pity works, right? It means it's going to take you 6,750 crystals to get 1. And then you have to multiply that by 30 to finish crafting 1 premium card. So you multiply that by 30 and you get 200,000 crystals. That was, even if you divide that by 2 and you say, you know what, every 5 pulls, you're going to get a P card. That still puts you at 100,000 crystals. So just to put it into perspective, that was probably the greediest move that they ever tried to pull in the game. And we boycotted it because of it. And we got them to change it. That was insane. That was crazy. But that was 100,000 crystals. And I'm only talking about 1 card, by the way. You have to do that 4 more times. So given my very conservative math, it was closer to 500,000 crystals. That system was just completely game-breaking and world, universe ending. So just to put the Franklin thing into perspective, yeah, $40 is bad. Is it 500,000 crystals bad? Not quite. Right? Not quite. So, yeah. I still hope the devs fix things. But in the meantime, make the most of what you can. Climb up to this regular Doom boss and farm the shit out of it to unlock your Bombshell Redhead and Aunt May and Uncle Ben's balls. Hit me up in the comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think. Let the devs know what you think as well in a polite way. Thank you so much for watching. Constructive criticism always welcome. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.